Hello and welcome to another video lecture from Mr. Watkins at mrwatkins.com. This video lecture is going to be about the nitrogen cycle. It is part of IB's option C, the sixth topic underneath that particular option. And one of the skills that you need to be able to do is to draw and label a diagram of the nitrogen cycle. So let's get started. We're going to start off with having nitrogen in the atmosphere. Pretty strong bond in this diatomic, but this nitrogen can get fixed, and there's three major ways that that nitrogen can be fixed. And the first one is industrial fixation. So that's one of the first ways, and it's part of the process that we use as humans use to basically make fertilizer. Another way is free-living bacteria, and the reason why we say free-living is because the third way is a symbiotic relationship that some bacteria have. In this particular case, we're going to talk about the ones with roots. So we can have a symbiotic relationship that also with bacteria and plus plants, and particularly the plant roots. So there's these three ways. Now, the free-living bacteria here, this typically is as to Vector, there are E on the end, that's the genus name. And then in the plants, it's Rhizobum. And all of these three systems, they all basically bring that gaseous nitrogen into ammonia, NH3. Now, that's not a molecule that can be used. Now, you got to remember, nitrogen is used in things like DNA. We have those nitrogenous bases in DNA, and much more importantly would be proteins. If you'll remember, that basic backbone in a protein is a nitrogen group, a central carbon, and then that carboxylic acid on the end. And so nitrogen is a key component into the very nature of how we exist. What ends up happening at this point is some other bacteria will take this ammonia and with oxygen, and they will make nitrite. And there's an I there. And this process typically is done by Nitrosomonas. And that's the genus name there. And again, we're going to have some oxygen come into this system. The next thing is, and it's still not at a point where plants can assimilate it and use it, the next thing would be we would need to make it go down to nitrate. Excuse me, nitrite there. And Nitrobacter is the major bacteria that we talk about when we deal with this process. Now, these two systems, this system here going from ammonia to nitrate, that is called nitrification. Misspelled. It is called nitrification. Now, at this point, a plant, and again, got the O2, we got to get some oxygen in there. At this point, the plant can then assimilate this nitrate. It actually gets pumped into those roots, and the plant can then use that to make its proteins. So at this point, we can have a plant pick up the nitrogen through assimilation, and then of course the plant gets eaten by some animal, and then the animal either dies, and of course the animal will provide excrement. It'll do some excretion, and this could be urea. But this product here, this either the dead organism or the excretion, can also be moved and made back into this ammonia, and we start this whole process over again. Fungi is a decomposer, so when something dies, like especially plant material dies, the fungus can come in and start breaking that plant material down, or that animal material down, and we get the nitrogen back out of that system, put it back into this other nitrification system so that we can get back into the nitrate. Now there are other bacteria that can take the nitrate, and these bacteria they basically convert the nitrate back into the gas, the nitric oxide, and this is called denitrification. And it's done by bacteria. I just went off the edge there. But this denitrification basically then gives us back some more of the nitrogen gas, and then of course we go back through the system there. Let's slide this over here a little bit, and just a little bit. So that is basically it. There is one other piece here, and it's kind of, I'm running out of room, so it's kind of hard to write, but lightning can actually strike, and there is enough energy in that lightning. In fact, there's way more energy that's needed that could break this nitrogen bond and then give us back basically into, it could make a nitrous oxide, it could make nitrate, but that's another way that the nitrogen can be pulled out of the atmosphere. So big thing here that you need to take away is we've got bacteria that can help pull the nitrogen out of the atmosphere, create the ammonia. We have a nitrification process that uses bacteria and oxygen to get us to the point where we have the nitrate. That nitrate, through assimilation, can make the circle back around. Assimilation, this is how a plant would pull the nitrogen, actually pull the nitrate, and they break that down and get the nitrogen out to make their proteins. Animals, of course, a consumer can come along and eat those plants, and then they can excrete any of the excess nitrogen through urea, or they can, or when they die, their bodies get decomposed, and again we go back and get back into the ammonia. Also in that nitrate, again, we've got the denitrification. So you definitely want to make sure you pay attention to this term of nitrification, what assimilation is, what denitrification is. I would certainly know the name of this genus. I'd probably also know the name of this genus of bacteria, so that you would have a good idea of what this process basically goes through. Here's the study tip. If you can sit down with a blank piece of paper and draw this out from memory, you got it, and that's the way to do it. Keep doing it, keep drawing it, check your answer after you draw it. If you don't get it right, draw in what you're supposed to get, then get another piece of paper and start that whole process over again, and you should be able to get this down in no time. That's it for now. Thank you.